My daughter and I always used to text each other before we went to bed. One night, I got a message that chilled me to the bone. My phone let out a sharp chirp before I was about to fall asleep, and I picked it up to see the message Andre had sent me. The text read, "Dad, please help me. You have to help me. I am writing this under the covers with the brightness and volume turned off on my phone. There is someone in my room with me, and I am scared to death. He's sitting in the chair at the end of my bed and looking at me. I think he wants to hurt me." I texted it with one hand and pushed a shell into the shotgun I kept under my bed with the other. My message read, "Don't worry, Daddy's coming." I crept out of my bed and into the hall, gun in hand, with my daughter's door in sight. I rushed at it and broke it open with a single kick. There was somebody sitting in the chair at the end of my daughter's bed. I could see the outline of a person in the pale moonlight. I unloaded my single shell into the person sitting in the chair with a loud blast that reverberated off the walls, better fitting on the white to observe the intruder who I had just shot. But there was no intruder. There was only my daughter, tied down to the chair with copper wire and gag in her mouth, not to mention the visible head wound that the 410 had inflicted. Her phone lay at sill of the bedroom window, which was wide open. This actually happened to me a few years back at the University of Arts in Philadelphia. My sophomore year, I roomed with a girl named Cara. She was a jazz vocalist, but her main interest was opera. We had a small room on the 6th floor of the dormitory named Jupiter Hall. The walls were thin, and her late night singing and voice practices would keep me up late at night. After a month or so of lost sleep, I convinced her to move her late night practices to the music studios in the Merriam Theater building a block away. Around 8 o'clock one evening, Cara announced that she would be practicing late for an upcoming recital and probably wouldn't be home until around midnight. Great, I thought. That means I can go to bed early. I was beat. I had a horrible day in acting studio and was ready to pass out as soon as I had dinner. She said good night and left. Coffee and sheet music lay in hand. I made a grilled cheese and soup, gobbled it down, and immediately began to prepare for bed. By the time I got out of the shower, my eyelids were so heavy I could hardly brush my teeth. I pulled on my PJs and crawled into the top bunk of our bunk bed. I was out as soon as my head hit the pillow. I should take a second to describe the layout of our apartment. When entering the apartment, the bedroom was through the door immediately to the left. Our bathroom was inside the bedroom, just past the bunk beds. UA Arts is so nice in the sense that you don't have to share the bathrooms. Anyway, I woke up to the sound of an apartment door closing. I opened my eyes and groggily checked my phone. Midnight, on the dot. I rolled back over and closed my eyes. I heard Cara enter the room and stop in front of the bunk bed, checking to see if I'm actually asleep. I thought she flopped down in the bed below me, which was strange, as she was stickler for brushing her teeth and washing up before bed. Then again, exams were just around the corner, and we were all exhausted. The mattress below me creaked, and then it was silent. I couldn't even hear her breathing. I started to drift off again. I was just on the edge of deep sleep when I started waking up again by a noise. A key in the lock, the door opening, and Cara entering our apartment, humming an opera tune. The mattress below me creaked. I have always been uneasy driving alone at night. It was one of my first of few times when I had just gotten my license. But the nagging fear has never gone down away to this day. It's disorienting to look into the mirrors and see nothing, and I mean nothing, but the consuming blackness of the night. It makes me hesitant to check the mirrors. Should I see the dark void or something worse, someone sitting in my back seat staring at me. In the summer of 2013, I found myself driving alone at night on the highway 902 from a party. It was almost midnight, and needless to say, it was pitch black, as was usual at night. I was on edge. I had the radio off, and could hear nothing but muffled roar of tires on pavement with the dull hum of the engine. I stole a glance into the middle rear view mirror, and saw nothing but darkness through the black window. I know that I looked backward and saw nothing. I'm sure of it. Just the seemingly endless blackness of the night. I remember it so clearly, because not 10 seconds later, a car passed me to the left, headlights on. I had one of those sudden adrenaline rushes, like when you think there's a person outside your bedroom window when it's just a tree. Or when you start awake at night with the feeling of falling. 10 seconds earlier, nothing had been behind me. Suddenly, a car. I drove all the way home shivering and knowing something was off. The next morning, I found 2 sets of scratches near the back of my van. One was on the left rear, one was on the right. The car was pretty old. They could have been there for months, but that was the first time I distinctly remembered seeing them. In hindsight, there are 2 possibilities for what that happened that night. Possibility 1, by some glitch in reality or something paranormal, this other car had somehow appeared behind me within 10 seconds of me checking my mirror, like some weird ghost crap or something. However, the second option is what makes my blood rush cold when I consider it. It didn't even occur to me until months after the fact, but it still makes me dread driving alone at night even more. Possibility 2. The car was normal. It had approached me from the rear and passed me to my left. However, something large and wide and black as the night had been clinging to the rear of my car, obscuring my view through the window and leaving deep scratches on the side. And I had disinadvertently driven it home with me.